Hi, good evening.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Hi, Raj. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing great. I was trying to actually log in from the uh, application, using the application, but I was not able to log in, so I had to switch to the
Yeah,
browser mode. So thank you for waiting.
okay.
So Raj Ranjan, I think we have had a few sessions before, at least one session,
Yeah, more than that,
more
around
than
three
that,
and
right?
four. Yeah,
3 to 4 sessions, right? Right. So it's been a while. So what have you been up to, and what's going on with you?
uh, I'm improving a bit by bit,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm enjoying the process,
Okay,
and
great.
I have improved a lot. I feel
Okay,
so.
okay, good. If I'm not wrong, just help me refresh my memory. You have been preparing, you have been what, preparing for some exams or?
No, no, I'm just private tutor,
Yes, you are.
and
Right, right. Yes. You teach
yeah,
8, 9, 10th, 11, 12
yeah,
students,
right.
right? Okay, okay, all right. So Raj, did you book any sessions in between since the
Yeah,
last time we?
yes, I'm
Okay,
continuing my
okay.
process here.
That's great because practice is very important. And if there is any break, especially a long break in the practice, it becomes difficult to get back to the level that you were initially. Right. So what
Right.
do you want to talk about something specific, or what is on your mind? I mean, any topic, or uh, have
Uh,
you checked out the session topic?
the session topic is nice one, like books
Okay.
and reading. So we
Right.
can talk
Okay.
about
So, sure. Yes. So if you would like to
now
talk
I'm
about it,
yeah,
yes, go on. Books and reading.
gone. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, well, go on. So, what would you like to say about that topic or on that topic?
Reading is really important, and reading books help us in many ways. And
Okay.
ever since I have started working on my speaking abilities, I have started building a habit of reading books. And last 8 months, I have read some 15 odd books. So
Okay.
that has
Great.
helped me a lot to
Okay.
change my viewpoint,
Mm-hmm.
to sometimes to change my viewpoint. Other times, while reading, if I go and check those word meanings that I'm unable to understand, so
Mm-hmm.
vocabulary is building
Mm-hmm.
because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And if I
Right.
read it aloud,
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes it helps in improving the intonation, as suggested by
Correct.
some other tutors as well. So yeah, all
Right.
these are the benefits of reading, and because once we read, we even though sometimes we feel like okay we knew it,
Mm-hmm.
but even after we know, we are unable
Mm-hmm.
to uh, portray that or
Right. Very
follow
true.
that in our life.
Mm-hmm.
So if we read and reread the same thing, and then make a notes, and then on the basis of that we try to follow something, that becomes
Right.
easier. So we get there are so many benefits of reading books.
Mm-hmm. But do you think that in present times the interest and the frequency of reading, especially reading books, have reduced?
Uh, this is really tough one for me because, like I said, that recently I have started just 8 months earlier, and before that, when I was growing up, so during that time, I did not even uh, read my syllabus books,
Okay.
the
Mm-hmm.
books in my syllabus. So it was not possible to read other books, and
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen in my network anyone reading books like
Mm-hmm.
novels
That's
or
what
other books.
exactly.
So I cannot relate that what is happening nowadays. I mean, ever since I have been looking around
No, but then
across
you see,
that, yeah,
you teach a different if I would not say a different generation, but they could be, they're certainly from a different era. I mean, they
yeah,
were born
of
much
course.
after you. So if you, when you observe your own students, what do you see? Are they much into reading like you are, or do they hesitate or tend to postpone any reading related
Uh,
assignments?
that's what I was trying to put in here, that ever since, like while growing up as well, I have not seen anyone that much into reading. Until now, I do not see anyone in my network reading. But of course, like, if I go back to your question, that
Mm-hmm.
nowadays it might have changed. Those who used to read earlier, they spend more often their time on social media. So like
Right.
book reading has been transformed into surfing net and other by replaced by other activities. So yes, in that case, of course, it might have reduced, but I have not experienced it in first hand.
Okay. But then, do you give any sort of reading assignments to your students? I don't think so, because you don't teach
No.
narrative or descriptive
Yeah,
subjects, right? But then,
right.
what from what I recall, you do teach English to your students,
Yeah, English grammar,
English
and
grammar.
not
Okay,
even the literature part, basically. Sometimes if they need some help, then I go to teach them. Otherwise, I generally focus on English grammar.
okay. Now, even for grammar, you may ask them to read a paragraph and identify the sentence construction and the grammatical. Maybe you can change you can incorporate, or you can sort of um, construct the statement sentences in a grammatically wrong way, and I ask them to identify the same. So they would be required to
Yeah.
read, even if it is the grammar part. They should start with reading, identifying the mistakes, and then understanding what is the correct
Yeah, I mean, those
grammar
kind of
rule that would
activities
apply.
we generally do. But
Right.
I think that will not be counted in reading, especially like the
Hmm.
what we are talking about, the book reading and all. So
Right.
those are the
Right.
general thing that everybody follows.
Hmm. Right, right. That is true. I mean, I was just talking about reading in general, not really book reading. But
Yeah,
even then, if you observe, I mean, that has been my personal experience also, because I teach economics. Economics is, to a certain extent, I mean, in fact, to a great extent, depending on, of course, what you are teaching. In economics also, there is a lot of mathematics involved, but there are certain other subdomains of economics which are very descriptive in nature. For that, you need, like, presently, I'm teaching my students the subject of international business environment, IBE. It's very
right.
descriptive, and right, so a lot of
Yeah,
reading is required. I mean, they are required to refer to reference books and all, and I see how my students sometimes hesitate. I mean, they would really like it if I tell them that the answer is on page number 6, and just read 6 and 7 page number, and not read all the 10 pages. They would like it that way. So there's a hesitation to read a lot, especially books. They might want to read contents on the internet, mm, because when you're reading
right.
something on the internet, there is flexibility. You can go to some other website, and a lot of other things you can do simultaneously also. But when you're reading a book, your attention is completely devoted, diverted to reading a book, and that is what the present generation lacks, actually.
Yeah, of
But then,
course. I mean,
hmm,
in this point, I would like to add the same thing as well, that the students, they do not want to read even their textbook. All they want to
exactly.
do is to read. I mean, they are more objective. They do not want the subjective reading.
Hmm,
They want to mug up things, like they need
right.
only answers, or even they would not write in their own words. But if they
Hmm.
can get some guide or something like that, they would
Exactly.
be happy and they read that guide, not that textbook.
Exactly.
So in that
Exactly.
way also, they are lacking this reading skill, and that is very precarious.
Right. That's a good word, precarious. What can you think of a simpler word? I mean, a simpler
uh,
synonym, which is, by simpler I mean a common synonym, a word which
okay,
is
yeah.
common.
I mean, dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous. Right. So something which would be in a precarious position, dangerous position. To a certain extent, you can also use the word vulnerable. I mean, if something is vulnerable, it could be in
Yeah,
danger
right.
of precarious as well. Right. So if you have to, how do you think the habit of reading can develop in people, in students, or in general also? How can they pick up on the habit of reading? How can they inculcate that habit of reading, sustaining that habit, reading long term,
Like
reading for
reading
the
in
long term?
itself is like a, uh, a great task, but an enjoying task as well. Like if
Enjoyable.
yeah, enjoyable, of course.
Mm,
But for that, we need to inculcate it from their childhood. Like if there
mm,
is a child, apart from giving them the smartphone or the things to play like football or something, we
mm-hmm.
have to give them the book as well, and read in front of them, because the children
Right,
grow in that way. Whatever they
right.
look, they pick up those things. So if they
Mm-hmm.
will look others reading in front of them, they
Very
will
true.
definitely try to read.
They
And
learn faster by example, as they
yeah,
say. Mm-hmm.
and once they get this in their habit, like if
Mm,
they inculcate the habit of reading, they would love it, they would enjoy it, and they are going to build it. uh,
very true.
it will last long with them.
Very true. See, of course, the effect of starting anything at a very nascent or early stage is usually quite a lot as compared to when the same thing, when a change is incorporated much later on, much later, because by that time the individuals have already developed their thinking, they have developed their likes and dislikes by if you delay the process of reading, right? So that is very
Right.
true. If we start early, then it's easier to
And one more
inculcate
thing
this
I would
habit.
like to add, like when I said about the child, but when once the child turns into teenage, after that it is really tough to make
Mm,
them do something against their wish. So whatever
very
they
true.
will think, they will do in their own way. So
Exactly.
it's better to
Start the
inculcate
process
such
early.
habits early. Otherwise, they will learn by their own mistake. That is what I
Right.
have felt. That no matter how much you make someone understand, they
Mm-hmm.
will not be able to grasp that. They will grasp
Right.
only after falling. They will learn by their
True.
own mistakes.
Right. And of course, when you're learning from your own mistakes, it has the benefit of you really remembering that, remembering the lessons.
Uh,
See, when
but in that process, they'll lose lots of time as well.
time, correct.
Yeah,
On the flip side, um, on the flip side, we don't know when the process would start. I mean, it's just that some people learn faster because they make mistakes sooner.
yeah,
They get
right,
the opportunity to learn. So we don't know exactly when they would make that mistake and get to learn. Because it's not
yeah,
planned. But when you start the process of learning, inculcating the habit of learning in the earlier stage, it's quite planned. I mean, I'll make my child do this. He'll go there to join a reading class. I'll make sure from my end. So this it's very planned. So I know that what he's doing. I mean, what is the outcome I want. But in the other case, which is more, though the possible. I mean, there is always a difference between someone telling you to read or someone
right,
telling you to read and helping you to identify mistakes, and in the other case you are identifying the mistake all by yourself. I mean, you are pushed to that
right,
extent, you have to do it all alone. So in the second case people learn much better, but then again, like you said, we don't know when that happens. We don't know when people will fall and then again learn to get up on their own. So I feel a mix of both. I mean, to a certain extent, the parents, teachers can guide them to read and can encourage them to read. Sometimes force also, because when the children are very young, you need to forcibly make a timetable for them. They will not willingly tell you. Very few children do that. I like
right,
reading, or what they would like to play. I mean, if given a choice. So initially,
right,
force also works, but gradually, I believe that it should be voluntary learning. Reading, sorry, reading should be voluntary. I mean, it, and it happens. I think it would be voluntary if it becomes a habit. uh, the person would start to read on their own
right.
later on, right? In the later stages, right? What kind of reading do you like to engage in?
So recently, I have been reading self-help improvement books more
Right.
often, and
Okay.
I
You really
am
find them
interested in that.
useful?
Yeah,
You find them useful?
yes, of
Self-help
course. And
books.
I wish, I mean, I would have started reading it earlier.
Which book are you reading exactly in present times?
Uh, Recently, I have finished the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, and
Atomic Habits.
other books that I can recall, uh, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, and
Hmm.
The Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma.
Right, yes, I've heard of this one. It's a self-help book that I didn't know. Robin
Yeah,
Sharma.
right.
Okay, okay, nice. So you have finished reading Atomic Habits. What is the book about?
Yeah, it,
in
it
in
is all
the
about
crux.
changing the habits. Eh,
Hmm.
if you have to
Okay.
change your habit, if you have to make some good habit, and then you have to like uh, uh, abandon your bad habits, or you have
Mm-hmm.
to get away with your
Give up.
bad habits, give up your bad habits. And so that there is the full plan in
Mm-hmm.
details, like we can
Okay.
think of
How to
making
make that
a
switch?
habit, but then how to do it. So this they have that
Practical.
have been uh, explained in a practical way, that we have to do it uh, gradually. Like
Mm-hmm.
if we are trying to make some habit, we have to make in a way that we can, that it look practical, and we can stay with this for longer period of time.
Okay,
Like
interesting. Mm-hmm.
like if I take one habit, for example, if I have to wake up early,
Mm-hmm.
then instead of focusing on waking up early, you will have to follow the process, and for that you will have to change the timing of your sleeping as well. And then you make the habit of like setting up an alarm,
Mm.
and then uh, put your phone away from
Mm.
your bed, so that early morning when
At
it rings,
bedtime.
you do not uh, snooze it time and again with your reach, but you have
Mm-hmm.
to get up from your bed to take your mobile to switch off that alarm. So if
Right.
you do all these
Interesting.
things, it would be easier to
Mm-hmm.
follow the process.
Right. Very interesting. So it's basically not directly working on what you want. So you want to wake up early, but then that is not what you will do the first thing. You will look at the other distractions or other challenges that you are facing in order to be able to wake up early. So
Yeah,
it's very interesting. It's a different approach to, because normally um, when we want something, we focus on the want. I want to wake up early, I want to learn cycling, so I start to learn cycling. But um in the process, if there are other distractions or challenges, maybe to learn cycling I may have to first, like, if I want to ride a bigger cycle, start with a slightly smaller one. And
yeah, right.
right. So very
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, the approach is
Or
quite
another
interesting.
thing, that if I say that if somebody has to build up the habit of reading, then do not set a target of reading a book in a day. Set a
Hmm.
target of reading one page a day, because
Right.
if
Take it
it is easier
quite
as
small.
well. Reading one page is easier, and if you are reading it every day, it will eventually become your habit.
Right. And you also have a sense of achievement in the process. Every day you're
Yeah,
reading one book, one page. As against that, if you the target is you have to read one book in 2 days, and if you're not able to achieve that target, which most likely one will not be able to, especially when one is not into the habit of reading. I mean, for a
right,
person who has been into the habit of reading, it's not a big deal. So rather than really motivating you, it will push you back because you'll be disappointed. I couldn't finish it, and then you might want to
right.
take a long sabbatical from reading. In Okay, all right, great, great. So Raj, it was nice chatting with you, and you come across as quite a sincere and invested person in the to
Mhm.
improve your spoken English skills, which is very nice. Because uh, I mean, see, we are here, you are here especially, and I'm also, of course, here for a purpose, for a reason. So if that purpose is very clear, uh, and by that I mean you are a good listener, you tend to listen, you come quite prepared. I mean, you have taken a look at the session topic, and since you like it, you have some points ready also, so which is nice. So you can please keep that up. um, and on the other hand, I think you are improving. I mean, you did use some very good words in between, which is a good, again, it shows that you have been reading, you have been able to retain those words. So overall, I would say my feedback is quite positive for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope to see you again, Raj, and take care of yourself. And nice talking to you. We'll talk about something else next time, some other topic.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Mm.
Thank you. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Bye
Bye
bye.
for now. See
Bye.
you in
Yes.
another
Bye for now.
session.
Sure.
Bye.
Sure. I will.